Yo, what is up guys, Gray here, and today we've got our week 1 battle of the PMC. We're going up against our good friend MidPokemaster and his Kentucky Torracats. Currently 3-0 against him, going to bring that up every time that I battle him, as long as I'm unbeaten. Obviously, like, as soon as I lose that unbeaten streak, then it's not worth mentioning, but currently 3-0, so we're hoping to make it 4-0. If you're hyped for this video, and you're hyped for the PMC, then please do give a like down below. Check out the Discord server for PMC, that is also down in the description, as well as hopefully all the links to the coaches. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get all of that, but yeah, if it is there, it's there. But certainly if you go into the Discord server, then you're going to see all of the coaches there and you can go and check them out individually. Anyway, let's get into this battle. So, first off, if you want to see what I brought, and well, you can see what I brought, but why I brought what I brought, go back and watch the team builder. Went up yesterday, hopefully, depending on whether I scheduled it right. And yeah, it will just let you know kind of much more in-depth detail about the sets and EVs and all that sort of stuff, as well as more of an in-depth analysis of what I think he's going to bring. However, he did bring pretty much exactly what I expected him to. So the only thing that I wasn't sure on was whether he's going to bring Lodon Raichu or Uxie. One of his psychic types was going to turn up, but it turns out he brought a Lodon Raichu, so I'm expecting that to be his Zmon, and then Tapu Koko to be like Life Orb potentially. Yachi or Weakness Policy Zygarde seems very likely against my team because I don't have an out-and-out Ice type, so I just got to hit it with coverage, and for the most part coverage doesn't really do enough to Zygarde. So yeah, Weakness Policy would be very scary, but I'm kind of expecting Yachi just because if it's Dragon Dance, then it's going to appreciate that. Piloswine is going to be Piloswine, and Milotic I think is going to be probably a mixed bulk set with Flame Orb. Absol is going to be again another mixed set. I think it's going to have Fire Blast, potentially Play Rough or Superpower, and then 2 Dark Stabs. The team I brought is Mienshao Scarfed, Chandelure with Ghostium Z, AV Tyranitar, Defensive Slowbro, Speedy Zapdos, and Mixed Bulk Mega Sizzle. Again, if you want to know more about those sets, then go back and watch Team Builder, but for those who are lazy, I thought I would give it a quick rundown. And yeah, then let's get into the battle. If I look over here, by the way, it's because the battle was playing on that screen. I did have it on a different one, but it was just like, you could just see flashing images on my face the entire time. It was disgusting. So I put it over there, but it does mean I had to look like all the way over here just to like view the video. So my lead was 100% going to be Mienshao. Regardless of what he led with, Mienshao was going to be great unless it was Koko, because I didn't want to risk Koko being scarfed. So before we get into this, let me get a drink. Gotta keep refreshed. So he leads off with Piloswine, and that is absolutely fantastic. I'm kind of thinking he's going to be scared of a high jump kick, so I'm just going to go for a knockoff, expecting his Milotic to come in, but he actually stays in, and that's great for me. It knocks off his Eviolite as he just goes for the rocks. Now let me just pause this video for a sec. So we played this battle once, and we only got like 4 turns in, which, you know, is not too bad, and we DC'd. It's certainly much better than like a turn 30 disconnect. But all that happened really is set up rocks, I knocked off, and then he was spamming Earthquake as I was just roosting with Sizzle. That was all it was. So effectively where we were at was my Mega Sizzle was at full health and he was just spamming Earthquake against me. So we decided the best course of action is for him to keep spamming stealth rocks until my Mega Sizzle is back at full health, and we kind of just go from there. So let me press play again. Just wanted to preface these few turns because otherwise it's going to look really weird. I'm just going to be there going for Roost, and he's going to be there going for Stealth Rock for no reason. So yeah, that's what happened. He was never going to be able to do enough damage with his Piloswine to actually knock out my Mega Sizzle, so we decided it was just best to reset at a point where both of us were where we were at, effectively. And once we get back into the battle, I decided that I really want to get rid of rocks. Rocks are really not fun for my team, and since Mega Sizzle has such a free defog against his team, I'm expecting Milotic to come in. And if it's competitive Milotic, I didn't think about this, but if it's competitive Milotic, then that is terrifying. However, that thought did not cross my mind. Fortunately, he isn't. He is just regular Flame Orb, as we're going to see there, and that's great. So at this point, I'm going to check to see if I actually outspeed. It's a little bit risky, because if I didn't outspeed, then I could have got burnt, but that U-turn goes first, so I'm expecting at least a speed tie. If not, I outspeed, because I do have that speed creep on my Mega Sizzle. And I can go straight out into my Zapdos. He goes for a Scald. That's going to do like a good 25%, roughly. Just about 60 damage. Yeah, it's about 25%. And that shows me that he's got like no investment basically on special attack at all. If he has anything at all, it's very minimal. And I do expect him to go out into his Piloswine, but I thought, I've got so many switches into Piloswine, I don't really care that much. So I'm going to go straight back out into my Mega Sizzle, and I can throw off a U-turn, expecting him to not want to stay in. He does go for the Toxic, he does reveal that, so I've seen 3 of his moves at this point. Because I saw the EQ when we were doing our initial battle, excuse me, then Toxic and Stealth Rock. Expecting him to have an Ice move, and okay, so here, before he goes for his move, here I go for U-turn and go out to me and Shadow, expecting him to want a Toxic on my potential switch out. In hindsight, EQ was going to be a very obvious move, so this was a bad play. But as you're going to see, I think he was expecting my Zapdos to come back out, and he goes for the Icicle Crash. And because now I've seen all 4 of his moves, I know he doesn't have Ice Shard, I can throw off a Drain Punch for absolute free and get myself a little bit of damage, health back. And we take down his Piloswine, which is really nice. That's one of his Volt Switch-ins gone. And once his Volt Switch-ins are gone, then Zapdos just has a great time. It just does big chunks to everything. So he goes out into his Alolan Raichu. At this point, I'm not sure if he's Scarfed, but regardless, he knows that I'm locked into Drain Punch. So I'm going to go out into my dedicated switch into this. It's a little bit risky if he had predicted it, but I didn't expect him to, because Tyranitar, I don't know. I feel like it is always a switch in, but he goes for a Thunderbolt, and as you can see, that does negligible damage. Literally does nothing. And if he wants to stay in, then he's going to take a Pursuit and die. If he wants to switch out, he's going to take a Pursuit and die. It just depended on whether or not he was going for the Z Focus Blast or not. And when I saw the Z, I was like, oh my god, it's Z Focus Blast. That's going to be like 70%. That's like almost a dead Tyranitar. But actually he goes for the Hydro Vortex, so I'm assuming he had that for Mudsdale. It's a good bring on his behalf, but at the same time, it doesn't do enough to Tyranitar. It does like very little at all to my set. And Pursuit just kills. That is a regular Pursuit without any switching out, any boost, and it just kills. So he goes out into Zygarde, and Zygarde is terrifying. We're in a good position at the moment, but he can still win, because he has Zygarde, he has Tapu Koko, he has Milotic that can sit there and be fat. It can wall out everything but Zapdos, basically, in Chandelure. So he just goes for the 1,000 arrows, and I calc this damage, and I'm looking at it like it's not fully offensive. Either it's jolly, or it's just not running max attack at all. So I'm kind of unsure on what his set is. It makes me lean much more towards a weakness policy set, because I think maybe he's specially bulky. But regardless, I want to switch out. I don't expect him to want to stay in, so I make a double into Sizzle. It's my best kind of middle ground play. Regardless of what it goes into, it's got a fairly good matchup. And he goes out into his Milotic. I definitely outspeed, I feel, at this point, because U-turn is always going first. And I'm thinking either he's going for a Scald or he's going for a Recover. I expect probably a Recover, because he's going to be low. But that gives me a free switch into Zapdos every time, as he does actually go for the Recover. So he's just trying to keep his Milotic as healthy as possible. So there's good plays on his behalf. Especially that Flame Orb and the Sand is taking so much residual damage. I'm going for a Volt Switch again. So I go for a Volt Switch. Every time that I go for Volt Switch, there's a good chance that one of his ground types is going to come in, like Piloswine did the first time, and I'm fully expecting Zygarde to come in this time. However, I know that I can deal with Zygarde at this point. The amount of damage that he did to my Slowbro would have been just regenerated off. And at that point, judging off the damage that his 1,000 arrows did the first time, I don't think that he is going to be doing enough, even at +2, with his Zygarde. So I can get a Toxic, and I can get an Ice Beam off on it, hopefully. Looking at judging on rolls, that's like a good chance. If he only sets up to +1, then I can sit there and I can wall it all day. So he really does need to get to +2. So if he goes into Zygarde, I just go into Slowbro. Really, I lose nothing from going for Volt Switch there, because if he stays in, I do a lot of damage. If he goes to Koko, I do a lot of damage. And if he goes to Absol, then that's great, because that's doing probably about half to that as well. So as you're going to see, he's going out onto his Zygarde, which is fair enough, good play on his part. Had I gone for HP Ice there, then if he was Yachi, that would have been broken, but if he was Weakness Policy, then I may have just lost the game. So I felt like Volt Switch was definitely my play, just to, in case he stayed in or switched into something other than Zygarde. But I'm going to go straight back into my Slowbro as he does start to set up the Dragon Dances. And this is terrifying. Like, no gonna lie, this is still terrifying, even though I know I can live potentially one. I can live 2 at +1, but I know he's going to go for +2. And at this point I'm thinking, okay, he's got to be Yachi, or he's got to be specially defensive. So I'm going to go for Toxic, and I actually hit one. Like, for me, that is like a 30% accurate move. I actually hit a Toxic. And at this point, Zygarde's less of a threat. I have enough bulk to be able to tank like a hit from Zygarde on like 2 or 3 mons. So I go for Ice Beam here, expecting him to potentially be Yachi. If he's Weakness Policy, he is Toxic, so he has limited turns. As you're going to see, he is actually Yachi, and judging off this damage, if he had been Weakness Policy, he would have just died. He would have straight up just died to that Ice Beam. So here I'm having to make a play, and as you're going to see, I'm going to switch out, but I had to decide whether or not I felt like Slowbro was going to live, because as you can see from the health I'm at, it is a roll to get the kill, and if he goes for Outrage, then 100% I die, and I feel like I still need to keep this thing around for Absol. And I know that's a bit weird because Absol is Dark type, it does a lot of damage, but I have got Colbur, so at the range after Regenerator, I will be fine to take that thing on one-on-one. However, if I lose Slowbro, then Absol becomes a bit of a problem, and I really need to then just kind of weaken Absol instead of being able to just directly check it, which is not ideal at all. The only thing I could do would be literally go into Me and Xiao and scare it out. But if Me and Xiao then goes down, I have nothing to beat it, and I lose the game to Mega Absol. So I feel like here I have to switch out. I have to preserve Slowbro just for Mega Absol, and I'm going to go out into my Mega Sizzle. And in hindsight, Tapu Koko is probably the bigger threat, and Mega Sizzle kind of checked it a little bit. But I knew that after 1,000 arrows, especially with the damage it did to Slowbro, I was going to be absolutely fine. After Toxic damage, he is going to go down to a Bullet Punch, and Extreme Speed will not kill me from this range. Don't know whether he had it or not because he didn't click it. I would have thought if he had it, he would have clicked it there regardless. But potentially he was just hoping that I would go for Roost and he would just take me out. So he goes out into Koko, and I'm stuck in a position where I've got to decide whether I want to sack something else off or I want to just go for the Bullet Punch, go for damage. And I decided that getting damage on this is probably my best play. Granted, I could Roost up on his Milotic, but at the same time I just didn't feel like that was worth it, because if I got burnt, then its usefulness becomes very limited. So I get the Bullet Punch damage, does just under half, and go out to my dedicated check, and that's Tyranitar. He goes for the U-turn, and unfortunately he does get a crit, but judging off that damage, I'm not sure whether or not that crit mattered. The only thing it would have done was potentially meant that I could live another Scald from Milotic, but he just goes straight out into his Absol on this incoming Stone Edge, and that puts him in range of Sandstorm, and his Absol just goes down. He literally just gives me his Absol for free, and like I just saved my Slowbro for nothing. But it is what it is. Like he played it very differently to how I expected him to play it, because let's be honest, Milotic was always a safe switch. I don't know why he went into Mega Absol there, but I don't know. He may have been predicting the pursuit and thinking he was going to get a free switch in, but nah. I was always going in for the Stone Age there. So at this point we're in a good position. We're 5 against 2, and I switch into my Slowbro on a Scald, hoping to get the burn. I didn't expect him to Toxic, so at this point I've just got to weaken him to a point in which I think he's going to recover, and then switch out into Zapdos. Gets me all the initiative back, and with all this residual damage from the burn and the Sandstorm that we're both going to be taking, there's a lot of damage effects going through at the end of this turn. I feel like he's going to think I'm going to either slack off or I'm going to switch. So recover seems like his play. He wants to stay as healthy as possible. And so I'm just going to go straight out to Zapdos. And if he does go for the Scald, then it is what it is. It does about 25%. But he does go for recover. So this puts me in a position where with the electric terrain, Volt Switch has a chance to kill. But regardless, I go for Volt Switch and I get all the initiative. Unfortunately though, the electric terrain actually disappears, and so I'm not going to be doing enough damage to take out this Milotic, but I can still go for the Volt Switch, and at this point I feel it's probably best to just let my Tyranitar go down. I don't know what that's about. Mid recorded this, by the way. Mid recorded for me, and I don't know what the fuck happened there with his DS. I can only assume it disconnected from the internet or something, but yeah, enjoy that. He goes for the Toxic on my Tyranitar switch. A little bit surprised that he didn't go for the Scald, but I guess he really wants to Toxic my Zapdos. And that's fine, I was sacking off my Tyranitar anyway. Its usefulness kind of went away when it got crit by U-turn. So I'm just going to go for a Stone Edge and try and keep this as low as possible. If I can keep my Milotic in range of which he feels he has to recover, then that's ideal, because now I'm going to bring in Chandelure and I'm going to go for game. If I can get up to +1, judging off the Volt Switch damage, I knew that at +1, Never Ending Nightmare was going to do something like 90% minimum. So it was a fairly free switch. I'm going to have to grab a drink again. This this recording is far too long. And my throat is hurting. Jesus Christ. I've recorded like 4 videos today, so my voice is shot. So he just goes for recover on my Calm Mind, and with that burn damage he is very much in range of a Never Ending Nightmare. I could have gone for a second one, but I felt that was a bit greedy, and that there's a chance that Coco still would have then KO'd. Granted, going for Calm Mind was risky regardless. I maybe should have just gone for the Never Ending Nightmare first turn, but I was fairly confident he was going to recover, and it worked out for me. So we're going to see if Never Ending Nightmare does enough damage, and it does. Milotic goes down. How often, by the way, do you see a Milotic get one shot? Especially by something that's not super effective. Like, that's wild. And at this point, we have got the game pretty much all sealed up. Unless this is Specs Coco, which we know it's not, then there's nothing that he can do to Oko me. So we're just going to throw off another Shadow Ball, and unfortunately we get paralysed. Like, okay, it's okay as long as we don't get fully powered, and we do. So this makes it a little bit more difficult. Certainly in the past I would have got tilted by this and would have probably ended up losing the game because I wouldn't have thought clearly about what I had to do. But all I knew I had to do was make sure that this is in range that me and Shao could kill. However, because I don't have Poison Jab, which to be fair in prep probably been quite nice, I didn't want to risk the high jump kick. I didn't want to risk my only way of winning this game. So I'm just going to U-turn a couple of times, sack off Slowbro, just put it in range of Drain Punch and guarantee that I win the game. I don't want to be going and throwing this game because I accidentally miss a high jump kick. Like, that would be just devastating. Especially for being in a position where I should have got the 4-0. Like, just losing the game would have destroyed me. So I go for a U-turn again. I'm just going to sack off Zapdos as well. I felt like it was better to just win the game at this point. Differential would have been nice, but what's differential to losing? So risk versus reward, certainly sacking everything off. Coco getting like 4 kills for him. Coco going to like straight to the top of the MVP race. But we're gonna go back into me and Shao, and looking at that U-turn damage, I was fairly sure that I was going to kill with Drain Punch, but again it was very nervy because I was like, it gets a low roll, it doesn't kill. Fortunately we do not get the lowest of low rolls, and we pick up the 1-0 win. So good game to mid. Certainly that para was terrifying. It certainly made me feel like I was going to lose the game. So yeah, good game to mid again. We go 1-0, +1. Be nice to be 1-0 +4, but you know, it is what it is. It's Mons. Hacks happens. It's such a bullshit game. You can enjoy mids in game, by the way. This could be the end screen for us, just mids sitting in Festival Plaza. But yeah, our next game is against Max Rapture, I believe, and the Tasmanian Toxicroaks. He's got a very scary team. I think everyone's got a scary team. I'm probably going to be saying that every week. But yeah, there's no easy games. Certainly Mid had a terrifying team. But I pick up a win. I felt my prep was good for this one. I just got to try and keep up that level of prep each week. Which is going to be difficult because I'm actually going to be in 3 leagues. I'm going to be in this one, IBL, D-League and PTL all at once. So we're going to be seeing if I can keep up with that kind of schedule and constantly prepping to the same level. But yeah, I'm rambling now, so I'm going to go. Like I said at the start of the video, if you liked the video, please leave a like. If you hated the video and you dislike my face, then dislike the video. But I will see you guys in the next video. Probably going to be IBL D-League draft analysis going up some point during the week. And then we'll have PMC and IBL next weekend. So look forward to that. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.